Okay, here we go, exercise 5.2. Now this should be pretty straightforward because we've done very similar things here. So let's have a look. First of all, read the question and read the question carefully. It says, this diagram represents m plus 3 plus m plus 5. So this looks a little bit more complicated, but when we think about it, m, there's our first m, there's our second m, here's our 3, so there's our 3 toothpicks. Here's another m, so we've got it in here, and there's our 5. It says find a shorter way to write the expression, and then show the case when m equals 2. So let's have a look at our example over here. So if I use this, we've got our m plus our 3 plus our m plus our m plus 2 plus our m. So I would write that m plus 3 plus m plus m plus 2 plus m. Oops. Now I want to make that a shorter way, so it says find a shorter way to write the expression. So let's think about this. How many m's have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would write that down as 4m. Now I could write plus 3 plus 2, but I can add them up. We've got 3 and 2 is 5. So we've got 4m plus 5. So we've made this really long thing here, all of this really long thing, into something quite straightforward. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 m's. We've got 3 plus 2 equals 5. So there's our expression. So now, if I wanted to find that one, if I said m equals 2 and I wanted to find it out, so that's where this part is. So it's, if you remember, I can do it 4 times 2 plus 5, or I could do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5. I'm going to do 4 times 2, because my m is 2, and I know 4 m's, I've got 4 m's, so I've got 4 lots of 2, plus my 5. Now remember, I've got to do this first, so I'm just going to put brackets around it, just to remind me that I've got to do that first, because that 4 and that m are together. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus my 5, 8 plus 5 is 13. So there's my answer. So just remember that I do this first, and that also works with BODMAS. If you think about BODMAS way back in primary school and at the start of the year. So that should be pretty straightforward in doing them. Okay, there you go. Okay, well these ones are pretty straightforward as well. If you think about this, this has got k plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, plus k plus 1 plus k. This time, instead of m, we're using the letter k. Okay, so it's exactly the same as what we've done before, except we're using the letter k instead of the letter m. Okay, so don't let the letter confuse you. We're just using a different letter. So you would do exactly the same. Draw our diagram. Okay, find a shorter way to write this. We've got 1, 2, 3 k's. So we were at 3k plus, how many have we got? We count them up and add all the matchsticks together, or toothpicks together. Same here, we would do our diagram. So our k, there's our cup, plus 1, plus our k, our cup, plus our cup, and shorter way. So they're pretty straightforward. You should be able to have no troubles with those. All it is it's changing the letter. So this time we've got k instead of m, this time we've got a p. But basically exactly the same. Now, these ones are slightly different. It says consider the expression. Remember, expression is just the word for sum, but we use it for algebra and we haven't got an equal sign. So when there's no equal signs and we're dealing with algebra, it's called an expression. Okay, so remember that's just an algebraic word for sum. Now, so this time it's a little bit trickier because we've got 3 W's and 2 W's and a W. and we've got to draw a diagram. Well, I'm going to do this example over here. Once again, instead of M's, we've got other letters. So for this one, for my diagram, I do my two H's. So there's my buckets with my H and my H. And I've got two of them. Oh, that wasn't a very good H. Ooh, not very good H's. Look like N's. Okay, plus my 5. I could do 5 matchsticks, but I suppose I better do 5 toothpicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's a dodgy one there. Plus 3 cups. There's another cup. There's another cup. Then I've got another cup on there. There's another cup of them and 3. Okay, so there's my 2 H's. There's my 3 H's. And there's my 1 H. And then my 3 on the end. So, oops. Shouldn't have done that. Okay. So find a shorter way to write the expression. So that's what we have to do now. So how many H's have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 H's. And how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 8. So there's my new expression. So my new expression is this. So I had 2 H's here. There's my 2 H's. Had my 5, bit dodgy, but there's my 5. My 3 H's, there's those 3 H's. And then this H here was that one there. Then my 3, there's my 3 bits there. Okay, so overall I've got 2 H's plus 3 H's plus 1 H. That gave me 6 H's plus 8 H. So there's my expression. So you should be able to do this one. Once again, instead of W's and H's, this one's got an X, and at the very end we've got to put in X equals 5. So if I had to do that for this one and I had X equals 5, I'd do my 6 times 5, which would be 30, plus 8 is 38. So that's what it would be with this one. Okay, now let's look at this one. It says consider the expression 3 and then in brackets y plus 2. So this brackets, it means 3 lots of y plus 2 represented diagrams. Well, I'm going to do an example over here and leave that one for you to do. So this time I've got 2d plus 3. So this brackets means 2 lots of d plus 3. So how would I draw that? It's 2 lots of d plus 3. So, oops, don't want it to be in red. Do it in blue. So it's a d plus 3 plus a d plus 3. A bit dodgy 3 there. Okay, so there's my 2 lots of d plus 3. So how would I do that in the diagram? There's my d, 1, 2, 3. My d, 1, 2, 3. So there you go. So now, if I was to write that without brackets, so it says here, so there's my diagram. So I would do a diagram for 3 lots of y plus 2. So this was 2 lots of d plus 3. Okay? So write that without brackets. So how would I write that without brackets? Well, let's think about it. I've got 2 d's, so I'm going to write 2 d's. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 6. So there is my expression for that without the brackets. Okay, some of you might see a bit of a pattern here. 2 times d, and 2 times d is 2d, and 2 times 3 is 6. So you'll learn that's called expanding the brackets, and we do that later on in year 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12. You'll do heaps of this. And then the lastly it says find the value when the expression is y equals 4. So I would put this when, say, d equals 4. What would I have to do? So that's 2 times 4 plus my 6. Oops, sorry. Now, I've got to do that first because that's there together. 2D is together. So 2 times 4 is 8 plus my 6. Sorry, it's all a bit dodgy, this pen, but I'm getting used to it. 8 plus 6, 14. So there we go. So if we think about this, this was 2D, 2 lots of D plus 3. So there's one lot, there's another lot. Then I've got my D plus 3, my D plus 3. So there, if you look at it, there's one lot of D plus 3, there's another lot of D plus 3. I want to write it in without brackets, so I want to write it simpler. So that's 2 D's, 3 and 3 is 6. Then if I want to find the expression when y equals 4, so in this one I used a D, so D equals 4. So I'll put that in there. 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Then I've got my plus 6 on the end. I put that in brackets because that's a pair, and we've got to remember that BODMAS, the M is the mode times and is before that addition. And then we've got 8 plus 6 equals 14. So you should be able to do this one as well. Okay, think about this. We've got M and M. Want to write a shorter way. So that's shorter way. I'm sure you can figure that out. This bracket here is just saying that lot there plus that lot there. So it's already got the diagram, so that makes it easier to write it in a shorter way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 M's plus how many on the outside. Draw a diagram to represent the case when M equals 2. Okay. So that probably shouldn't be there. It just should be just find it out when M equals 2, how many. Okay, I'll leave you to it.